Hey, look out. It's Faith Talk Live. I'm Rick Probst.
And I'm Dan Ratcliffe.
There he is, bigger than life. Doctor, happy husband, father, global conference speaker, discipleship counselor, coffee drinker, traveler. And that's all the time we have for today's show.
Okay.
So
thanks for joining us today.
We'll be right back. Dr. Gary Layne with us, Functional Christianity. That's what you're on your website. That's what it says you are, your Facebook. Are you all that?
Yeah. I need to add some more things.
You don't do enough, Gary. Come on.
Yeah.
I like how it says happy husband. Have you ever noticed someone's Facebook say unhappy husband?
No, but I mean, I guess if you just put husband, you're like resigned to it, right? No,
I'm a husband. Is that how it is?
True.
Yeah.
I guess go back and change mine then.
Yeah. Happy husband. I don't know. It sounded good. Like 2 H words. You know how speakers are. They like to put letters together that make happy husband.
A little alliteration
I am a happy
makes
husband.
it better. Yeah.
You are.
And
if folks will check your Facebook page, your personal Facebook page, you'll see numerous gatherings over the holidays, big smiles, including Dr. Gary Layne and Allison. Allison is still smiling. That's a good sign.
Yep. Happy wife still. Like
Happy wife, happy life.
2.5 years. So
wow, can you believe it?
No, it's like, I guess they say that's how you know you're over the hill, because it goes faster now.
Well, what we've been doing with our guests, because it's the Christmas season, what are you guys, what are your plans? And are you doing any traditions? You making up your own traditions? What are you doing?
We always have a family gathering on Christmas Eve. That way, you know, as we get older and everybody's got a life that's not wrapped around, the old people. We have a tradition of doing a Christmas Eve dinner, and we always cook steaks. So it's been a tradition for many, many years that we buy a big giant roast and cut it up into steaks. And then we serve those different ways. So the family gets together and we all swap our presents at that point. We each pick a name because there's too many people now. Mm-hmm. And then Christmas Day, everybody does with their own family. So we'll be driving up to Allison's mom's place. She'll be 91 at that point. She turns 91 next week. And we'll be driving up there and having Christmas dinner, lunch with them and their family. And then we're heading down to on a little bit of a vacation for the new year.
Good
for you guys.
And what's on Dr. Gary Layne's Christmas list for the one person who gets your name for the Secret Santa thing?
Yeah, this is very important. I have a rechargeable 18-volt battery for my flashlight and drill.
Okay. That's very specific.
Yeah, that or I can. A lot of my kids just always give me not always, but they give me Starbucks cards. $10 Starbucks card. I can go get one of those complicated names drinks.
Yeah, just tell them no ties, no socks, no cologne or anything like that.
No, they know me better than that. They don't get me. They just get me some little thing, which is fine. I love it.
Yeah.
I'd like to know what Allison's mother wants on her list at 91. What do you ask for?
She's looking at some clothes. She's 91, so wants to update her wardrobe to be a little more 21st century. So maybe a couple of blouses and some new black slacks, things like that. Some comfortable shoes.
You should get her some really hip clothing, with like a hat that turns sideways and just make her a cool granny,
Yeah, I was thinking of some cut-off shorts, cut-off jeans with, some suspenders. And like you said, a hat with some bling on it or something. No, probably not.
Love it. No, okay.
Well, this is not the Beverly Hillbillies. This is your mother-in-law. This is the mother-in-law you're talking about.
Yeah. No, she's a great lady. She just is 91, so you kind of slow down just a little bit.
Sure.
But we went out last night to church and listened to Christmas singing by the Georgia Festival Choir. David Scott is the director. He's a good friend of mine. And so they have a 60, 80 voice choir. They sang at Johnson Ferry Baptist last night. So it was a fantastic concert, Christmas music and congregational singing of Christmas songs and stuff. So we all went out to that last night and had a great time. So it's Christmas time.
Awesome.
That's so awesome. Now keep us in the know of what's going on with Functional Christianity. here we are at the end of 2022, moving into 2023. Anything you learned over 2022 doing the things that you do? I mean, you've traveled abroad, you do the things in other churches. You went to Patmos, and they didn't keep you at Patmos. That was a good thing.
Yeah.
And Samos.
Yeah.
No, was that Samos you went to as well?
I went
think.
to the island of Patmos where John wrote Revelation, and I also
Yeah.
went to Samos to work with
Samos.
refugees. Yeah.
I just read that a couple of weeks ago. I was in Acts reading that chapter, and I thought it made me think of you, both Patmos and Samos. But what have you learned, do you think, over the last year?
This kind of, maybe it's because I'm a counselor. I was thinking about that this morning. The thing I've learned is the world needs Jesus. I've learned that more this year probably than ever before. The people that are hopeless, I've done funerals for people that have committed suicide. I'm dealing with couples that are missionaries that are struggling in life, in relationships. And so the lost need Jesus, and Christians need to learn to walk by the Spirit. I think that's my phrase this year, Galatians chapter 5. For 2023, my phrase is walk by the Spirit. God's sort of already given me that. So 2022, I learned that the world seems to be falling apart all around us.
Yes, it
and
does.
It needs Jesus more than ever before. So that's kind of where I've been hanging out.
So Gary, kind of break that down. I mean, we say that at church all the time, walk by the Spirit. It's a kind of a churchy thing to say, but what does that look like practically to walk by the Spirit?
So there's this idea of hopelessness where we don't feel that our needs are being met. And of course, in a life of a person who commits suicide, they've lost all hope. They think there's nothing in this world that can fix any of the problems that they're having. And obviously some of that's psychological and physiological, but when the mind loses hope, there's nothing left. And so there's despair. That's a word we don't use much more anymore. So to walk by the Spirit is to understand. There's a great verse in Hebrews 6, right around verse 19, I think. It says that God is the anchor of our soul. And so what happens for a Christian is we forget where our focus should be, where our center should be, and where our rock is, where our anchor is. The old hymn, my anchor holds. And so we don't sing those anymore, but there is this sense that we need something greater than ourselves to be a part of. And of course, that's Christ. And anything less than that tends to fall apart. Relationships fall apart, or in our lives, we don't feel acceptable, or we feel defeated, or we feel, all these emotions that we feel in our soul. The Father through the Spirit wants to resolve that for us. So to walk by the Spirit is not to say, oh, I don't have any problems. It's to say, I've got a boatload of problems, but my boat is anchored to Jesus Christ. And that means there's storms and I bounce around, but I'm not going anywhere because I'm held firmly by the Father who loves me and cares deeply for me. So it's taking Christianity to a deeper level. To walk by the Spirit means to understand who I am in Christ, and that He is the definer of me, my worth, my acceptability, my value, my respect. All of that is anchored in Him, not my job or my looks or my money, but Christianity is, I don't know, I don't want to say in general, but it seems like, maybe it's just because I deal with people that need counseling a lot. It just seems to be a sense of need that's not being met for everyday life. And so walking by the Spirit is how we can walk day to day with joy.
I'm glad he clarified about the looks. I was leaning on my looks and have for some 62 years.
You don't have to do that anymore, Rick.
Thank you. Now I will worry less. I'll be less stressed out. Dr. Gary Layne, Functional Christianity. We are, and we've heard this for years, right? December is, for some people, the most joyous time of the year. Some, the most brutal as far as emotional. And you said about hopelessness. Once people lose that hopelessness and entirely. Some lean on taking their own lives. Is it getting worse because of the surroundings, the culture? We're not learning how to deal with those things that we should be dealing with. Is it getting worse, or what do you see?
I see it getting worse only because there's more and more commercials and talk about mental health in the secular world.
Mm-hmm.
And, I just read recently, Harvard, I think, did a study and found out that people who do meditation are able to relieve their depression and anxiety better than almost medication. And it's like, wow, you're just now figuring this out. God has been about, on your word. I meditate day and night. I have a day of Sabbath where I rest and pull back from life. I mean, it's been in the Bible, the whole Bible. And now the world is finally going, oh, wow, mental health is important.
Yeah.
It's like, wow. So I think it's getting worse. And even the world is seeing it get worse. And so we have the perfect solution, but we don't seem to be presenting it that way. Yeah. We're like, you're a sinner, and we are, and people are, and they need Jesus to go to heaven. But it's like, ooh, Jesus said, I've come to give you life and life more abundant. Wouldn't you be interested in finding a way that helps with your anxiety and your stress and your depression and your spouse and your kids and your job? Wouldn't you like to find a way that you could rest in the storms of life? And that's that anchor in Jesus.
Yeah. And when you're meditating, make sure you're meditating on the right things and not meditating on some weird, cosmic something or other. It's you're meditating on the word.
I mean, there's commercials now that's like, this commercial is 30 seconds of calm, and then just ticks go, you're like, wow, they're even putting commercials on that say, take a break from watching TV. We're going to give you 30 seconds.
Those commercials stress me out.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can take any of the drugs because the side effects will kill me.
Oh, everything does. And don't take this drug if you're allergic to this drug. Well, duh. Thank you very much.
I know. How do I know that? Well, let me inject it in you and see if you're allergic to it.
If you die, then you're allergic to it. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Dr. Gary
I'm going to
Layne.
put that on my headstone. He was allergic to the drug.
Dr. Gary Layne, Functional Christianity, functionalchristianity.com. Doc, good to see you. Let's talk to you more in the new year. Blessings to you, and have a great holiday season, Christmas season with your family, and hope you get that battery charger you've been hoping for.
Yes.
Merry Christmas to you guys, and thank you. May God bless you more and more each day with your show, and you guys are wonderful. So I love you so much.
Love you too,
Gary.
We'll be back. You got to take a break. I'm Rick Probst.
And I'm Dan Ratcliffe.
This is Faith Talk Live.